You are making a mockery of the first American. It's not that you get questioned all the time and you don't understand what it is to sit here for 8 months and being discriminated against. Understand that you're in the front row and you feel comfortable and you get questioned all the time. But there are people in the back who don't get any questions.
If you want to know what a complete sham, what a fraudulent, grotesque perversion of reality the White House briefings have become, you should see what happened today. The low IQ White House press secretary brought in a bunch of TV actors to stand there so she could promote a TV show for some reason. Why are we?
This looked like a daggone, hold on. This is the Ted Lasso show. I know all of those. Yeah, all of those actors are from Ted Lasso. These two guys right here, they play soccer on his team. He's the coach, and she's the owner of the team. And I guess they got a little bit of they don't have a love interest. I think he has a love interest with somebody else. And I don't know what character he is, but why do they keep doing this? They got so many pressing issues going on inside of the White House, but they always seem to turn it into freaking Saturday Night Live, man. I don't get that part.
Are we doing this again? She never really explained. Mental Health Day or something. None of them were doctors. But at the same time, even as she was promoting a TV show, the White House press secretary refused to take questions from actual reporters. First on that list would be our friend Simon Atiba of Today News Africa. So today, Atiba just got frustrated and called out the White House press secretary for ignoring his actual questions for months. Watch what happened next.
What you are doing, you are making a mockery of the first American.
Simon Atiba is making, hey, Simon Atiba always starting stuff, man. He said, what are you doing? You are making a mockery of the First Amendment.
You are making a mockery of the first American. It's been 7 months. You've not called on me. You've done my messages. I'm saying that's not right.
That's right. That's right, Simon. Get him. Simon said, you're making a mockery of the First Amendment. It's been 7 months and you have not called on me. He come in there just like everybody else. One of the other press secretary, one of the other guys that's coming to interview these people, and they never call on him. He actually go into private meetings, ask them, look, this is what I'm going to ask you. I promise you I'm not going to start any trouble, but I represent a certain group of people that want answers too. And if I show up every single day, how in the world am I not being called on for 7 months? And she just laughing. She just looking to the side, laughing. She think it's funny.
Fun times. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the press briefing room.
That's not right. This is not China. This is not Russia. This is the United States. This is the White House. No. It's been 7 months. I sent you
the rest of us are here too, pal.
It's been 7 months. You guys have not done anything for me.
If you have grievances, you should bring them to her later.
He always bring the grievances to her. That's the thing that they don't understand. He goes inside of her office and he talks to her and let her know, yo, what's going on? How can I fix this? Let me go get you some flowers, some candy, something. I don't want to be inappropriate, but guess what? We are all here to do a job. And this is not cool. Like, I'm able to get in the building, but for what? I want to ask questions as well.
I've done that. All my emails have been ignored.
And the press corps is tired of dealing with this.
It isn't about you, Simon. Understand that you get questioned all the time and you don't understand what it is to sit here for 8 months and being discriminated against. Understand that you're in the front row and you feel comfortable and you get questioned all the time. But there are people in the back who don't get any questions.
You hear that? He talking to one of the other interviewers who are sitting in the front row, and the guy that's sitting in the front row, he's like, "Won't you be quiet? You're gonna get your turn." Simon Atiba is like, "Bruh, you sit in the front row. She answer your questions all the daggone time, but you have us who are sitting here in the back who she never calls on, specifically me." For 7 months, going on 8 months. Come on, man, we need to fix that.
Assumptions about what the rest of us do. Mind your manners when you're in here. If you have a problem, you bring it up afterwards.
What has just occurred this last 10, 15 minutes is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. So we're either going to continue the briefing, or we can just end the briefing right here.
End the briefing. She act like she daggone driving the school bus to her. She's driving the school bus filled with children headed to a daggone field trip. And she said, yo, if y'all gonna keep on talking, I'm gonna turn this bus around. There won't be no field trip. There won't be no y'all not gonna be able to see the exhibits at the museum because I'm about to turn this bad boy around. All right, Simon? If I hear your voice back there one more time, Simon, I'm turning this bus around. Ain't gonna be no field trip, Simon.
Outrageous doesn't even describe what we just played for you. So here you have the White House press secretary whose job it is to answer questions from journalists on behalf of the entire American population, hijacking the event to promote a TV show and then screaming at a guy who wants his questions answered. And then the other shills in the room don't take the side of their fellow journalist, but take the side of the lady at the front to whom they are actually beholden and try and shut down Simon Atiba. Who did that? Well, this is a partial list. That would include Jeff Mason of Reuters, who should be ashamed.
Yes, he should be, bruh. You need to stand with your fellow reporters. God dang it.
Brian Karam of CNN. Associated Press correspondent Zeke Miller. He even apologized to the press secretary later in the press conference. They, again, should be ashamed of themselves.
If he's a fellow White House correspondent, you should say, yo, Kareem, he's making a great point. Like, why are you not calling on him? What's going on? Because of this right here. No, it ain't because of this right here. This ain't school. This is business right here. Like, we are all here to ask questions. What's going on?
Generations of reporters would have turned on them. Really, you're taking her side? She's a liar? Your job is not to suck up to power. It's to serve your viewers and readers by getting to the truth. But instead, they piled on Simon Atiba. Really the most revealing moment maybe ever in the White House press room. We are honored now to be joined by Simon Atiba himself. Simon, thank you so much for coming on. We're really glad to have you. What prompted, you seem very frustrated there. What prompted your exchange with the press secretary?
Yes, thank you, Tucker. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm grateful. You know, the First Amendment protects the freedom of speech, the press, and assembly, and the right to petition your government to seek redress. And yes, that First Amendment says that I have the right to ask questions, to do my job, and the press secretary doesn't need to like me, date me, marry me, have 2 black children with me. She doesn't need all that.
She don't have to date me, like me, love me. We ain't got to have no kids together. None of that.
She doesn't even need to like my accent, doesn't need to like what I look like, where I come from. They look down on me. They don't respect the First Amendment. And so what has been happening in the White House is, in the past 7 months, I've done all the right things. I've not been called on. I've gone to her office to seek a meeting. She said that she will meet with me next year. I've sent questions about the Nigerian election, about, you know, the problems, challenges in Africa. And they've not called on me, even as the vice president is going to Africa, even as the first lady, Jill Biden, went to Africa, even when they received 50 African leaders for the U.S.-African Summit in Washington, D.C.
Simon, you need to make friends with Peter Doocy. That's what I'm seeing over here in the chat. The people have spoken. They say you need to make friends with Peter Doocy, bro. If you're not going to make friends with Peter Doocy, then what are you doing? You need to learn how to play chess. All right? Right now, you're playing checkers. Because right now, they're going to try to figure out a way to make sure that you not come in there because you're causing a disruption when they have their Hollywood guests there. We got all of our Hollywood guests here because this is what America is about. The only way we're going to fix any issues in this country is by bringing our Hollywood guests here, okay? So that I not have to answer any of y'all questions. They can just entertain y'all.
The guy who covers the White House, the African guy who covers the White House, is looked down upon in the greatest country in the world, in the most advanced country where freedom of speech is protected.
Now, one other thing. Now, I'm not going to continue to stop this over and over, but I wanted to drop this on y'all. When Lou Valentino and I had a conversation with Simon Atiba, he told me something that really blew my mind. What he said was, he said when he very first started being a White House correspondent and he was inside the press. He was, questioning the press secretary with his questions and whatnot. He came there as a Democrat. He was very excited to meet Barack Obama. He wanted to meet everybody that was on the left. He thought that they were so cool on TV. But then when he started to meet them and he started to have conversations with them and he started to see how they was treating him, he said the liberals was way worse than he ever thought. It blew his mind. He said, I was a huge fan of the Obamas. I was a Democrat, and I was just loving. I just wanted to get close to what they was doing, and I felt like I had the greatest job ever. And now that he has to ask questions to these same Democrats, they are treating him like sugar honey iced tea. They're treating because he's holding them accountable with his questions, and they don't want that. That's why they try to shut Peter Doocy up, but Peter Doocy, that dude got too much sway. He got too much sway. They can't shut him up. All right, he in the big leagues. Well, Simon Atiba is trying to get there, but he's not there yet. So he got to play his cards right. But he did come in there as a fan of the liberals, and now they just put a whole lot of stank on that.
It's a shame what happened today. One of the guys that you showed there now, Brian, he was kicked out of the WACA because he became violent in the Rose Garden. It's a disgrace. It's very violent. He attacks many people. It's a shame. What happened to me today, it's a total disgrace, and it's happening in the Biden White House. And when it happens to Jim Acosta of CNN, because they respect him, he's white, he works for CNN, I'm black, I'm African, I don't have money, they look down on me, I don't have the opportunities that they have, and they don't treat me the same way. I need to do my job. The freedom of speech and the press in the U.S. allows me to do my job, and that's the only thing that I'm trying to do. And they are stonewalling me, trying to help Karine Jean-Pierre, and it's a shame.
The fact that Jeff Mason and the rest, who should be ashamed of himself, took the White House side against you is really one of the most awful things I've ever seen. I was shocked by it, as cynical as I am, and I appreciate your coming on tonight. You seem unbowed. Simon Atiba, we are rooting for you. Thank you.
One thing I will say to Simon, bro, change your strategy. You need to change your strategy. Like, really, I get it, how frustrated you are. I would be frustrated too. I'm sure anybody would. Anybody that's watching right now would be frustrated as well. But you need to change your strategy. I don't know what it is, but your strategy needs to change. As a matter of fact, I need to link up with Simon, man, because he's in the DMV. I'm in the DMV. It don't take nothing for him and I to go have some tea or coffee together, sit down and just chop it up. But we need to strategize, bro. We need to strategize on how you can get the answers that you want, not be shut down, and continue to be elevated rather than shut down. Because right now they pretty much blacklisted you. They blacklisted you, and it's not because you're black. All right. And I will say this also, whenever you mention I'm black and I'm African and I don't have any money, those type of things, what happens is that sounds like you're playing the victim card when you do that. That does not help your cause. So we need to try and figure out a way to strategize so that you can get your answer. I mean, get your questions answered for real, because this right here is crazy. And I feel for you, bro. I feel for you.